All right, welcome back. Episode 87. We're here. We all made it.
Woo!
Nobody's been waiting on anybody.
Not at all.
Wow, I felt it.
Thanks for joining us,
Yeah,
Josh.
I'm glad I could grace you with my presence. My apologies, gentlemen. My wife always accuses me of saying that I think I can do more in a time frame that I really am capable of doing.
Oh, you did good. You did fine. Oh, I was going to tell you, we're coming up to our 1 year anniversary.
Whoa!
1 year.
April 6th will be our 1 year anniversary. So
We did it.
The leaps and the
We're
bounds
not
that we've
there
made.
yet.
Well, I was just
we
saying.
think we're going to be able to make it. I mean, that's what, a week away.
I quit. Just right there, the day before.
I don't know if we're depending on today's recording.
could
Then we'd be like, I don't know if we'll make it or
You
not.
could piecemeal enough episodes together to get us to a year, Jody.
Yeah, I
You
knew
could
that.
just say
That's
we're going
called
to
cheating, though.
we're going to do a highlight reel, the best of our first year, and you play 15-minute segments from ones where we actually think we did decent.
Yeah.
Just all the moments where we stopped and laughed. And just laughed at each other.
If you could pull all the bloopers out of every episode.
Well,
It'd
that's
be a
pretty
long
Fun times.
episode.
Would it be?
It'd be a lot of bloopers. A lot of bloop.
Hey, did y'all hear about the government that is destroying this guy's treehouse?
What else are they
Is that
destroying?
The government, like our government, or
It's called
another
the
country's government?
government of California.
Ooh.
It's tough. Tough
Hey.
look.
I know some folks that fled the government.
They don't pay their taxes. I'm pretty sure I saw somebody trying to flee the repo man today. Not gonna lie, I definitely saw. I was driving back into town to come record, and I definitely saw a car that was parked. There was a shed. It was a pull-through shed that is this way, and the car was perpendicular to the direction of the shed.
Really?
Yeah, I think they were saying, "Come get it, big boy."
Right, a Los Angeles homeowner has conceded defeat in his fight against the city to keep a treehouse on his property. After 7 years and more than $50,000 spent on legal fees and permits, the battle ended this weekend.
What's wrong with the daggum
with a
treehouse?
demolition crew.
What's wrong with the treehouse?
Well, nothing was wrong with it for 20-something years.
I know.
I'll tell you about it. The Treehouse, which was built and owned by The Simpsons producer Rick Palazzi, I think that's how you say his last name. It was a staple of the Sherman Oaks neighborhood for 24 years. The structure was 3 stories tall, so it was a sure enough good one. And it was inspired by the show's Treehouse of Horror episodes. I'm not familiar with The Simpsons, so I couldn't tell you.
I mean, I know
What
some of
that's
the
all
characters'
about.
names, but that's about it.
Bart,
Yeah.
Homer.
Marge.
Mr. and
Marge.
Mrs. Simpson.
What's the little girl? I don't know the girl's name. Oh, well. Anyway.
I don't know.
Somebody out there in the world is screaming
I mean,
right now.
well, if you
Like,
said it,
y'all
I'd know.
are
I'd be like, yeah, that's it. Originally built for his daughters, it eventually evolved into a centerpiece for a family-friendly, light-up Halloween display called Boney Island Open to the Community. In 2017, a neighbor complained about the large crowds of children accumulating during the 10-day Halloween event.
Maggie.
So then, those Maggie.
Just saying.
That is. What's the baby?
I don't know. There's Homer. There's Bart. There's Maggie. More, Mr. Bird. That Lisa.
I wouldn't have
Lisa
got that.
Is the little girl.
Is that right?
Maggie is the
Got
baby.
a clue.
Maggie is the baby, and Lisa is the sister.
Okay. All right, so the city shut down the Boney Island attraction. It cited the owner for the treehouse's permit violation since the treehouse was built around the 3 sweet gum trees in his front yard. Who puts a treehouse in your front yard, by the way?
It's
And
3 stories. It's not
And
like
it couldn't be moved, but a treehouse belongs in the backyard, right?
not if you want the neighborhood kids to come
If
and play.
you had a tree in your front yard and you started building out there, and Misty comes out and says, "What are you doing?" So I'm building a treehouse.
If it was 3 stories, I don't know.
Like, can you not go in the backyard and do that? Just saying.
My treehouse as a child was in the backyard, but it was also wasn't in a tree. It was built on a couple of 4x4s.
Say mine was technically
Kind of a
in the side yard.
House on stilts.
I had a swing. I didn't
Say
have a
it.
treehouse. I wasn't highfalutin like y'all.
He just had a tree.
Did you tie rope swing?
Yeah, it was a barge rope. So it was one of those thick ones.
Like a single rope swing?
Yeah.
Okay.
pretty
With the
neat.
round plate at the bottom, or did you just sit on the knot?
We had a knot. You had a knot. It was like a loop. The knot was up here, but it came around. Anyway, it would tear you in half when you sat in.
seems-
it was
seems
So you
scary.
sat on the rope.
Yeah.
You didn't have to like
Sometimes
wrap your
we're-
legs around. Like,
That seems
here's
very
the rope.
dangerous.
No.
So
We
you're
didn't.
like sitting Indian style.
Go from rope swing to noose very fast.
Yeah, you got to be careful. And then sometimes if you could find like a 2x4 or something that was a small piece, you could wedge it in there and sit on it, but it didn't work very well sometimes. Because if it fell out while you're going, it sure enough did hurt your hips. Back to our story.
All right.
So, have you ever watched the Treehouse show that comes on where they go around as a company?
Thought you were back to the story.
Well,
Look at
I
it,
just-
Matt. You got it.
well,
Your
my
ADD
mind
kicked
is-
in.
Yes, I have seen that.
I like it. Oh, you got the purple drink today. Jody can't focus when he drinks the purple one.
That's right. So, anyway, he began applying for the necessary permits to keep it going, right?
Okay, yeah.
All right. Bringing the
Save
treehouse.
the treehouse.
He's trying to bring the treehouse into compliance. It was no simple task. He secured the necessary zoning permit for the treehouse, a feat in and of itself. He'd been unable to obtain a building permit from the LA Department of Building and Safety, or the LADBS.
Okay.
So he got like the zoning part of it, but he couldn't get the rest of it. So Los Angeles defines a ADU, which I don't know what that is, an attached or detached residential dwelling unit that provides complete independent living facilities and must include permanent provisions for living, sleeping, eating, cooking, and sanitation. Securing these building permits requires soil reports, structural designs, Americans with Disabilities Act compliance, and all of this stuff that is just kind of absurd, he says.
It makes sense.
For an existing treehouse that has stood for 25 years with no safety incidents, he says. Or at least his attorney said that.
This is private property he lives on, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
No
Meeting.
property's private.
Apparently not.
Don't pay your taxes and see how private it is. Meeting the ADU demands would have cost another $50,000 to $80,000 on top of what he already spent. It's felt like a strong arm tactic meant to get me to buckle, he said.
He felt tackled, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said.
Strong arm tackle.
Yeah,
Glad I won one of those weak ones.
right. Despite ongoing good faith efforts to comply with the city's regulations, he was criminally charged with 4 misdemeanors by the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office in 2020 for the treehouse's
did he make
noncompliance.
mad?
I don't know. His neighbor,
Who did he make?
because there was too many kids coming there during the
Okay.
10-day event for Halloween. Unable to move forward with renovations, he applied for a permit. Remember this, he can't go forward because he can't get any more permits. So he applied for a permit waiver in April 2024, but never heard back from the city. It's hard to comply with something if you never hear back with the people you're trying to comply with.
Oh.
I'm getting fed up just reading this. Stuck in limbo without an accepted or
I think
denied
Jody's going to
waiver.
go chain himself to this
Yeah.
tree.
His
Not
last
on my
hope.
watch.
I would
Too
have.
late.
I'd have stood there with him. I'd have held hands with him. We'd have surrounded that tree.
Kumbaya.
Tree huggers.
Yep. His last hope was for the misdemeanor charges to be dropped. However, with the fast approaching trial date and an unrelenting city attorney threatening to force him to pay court costs and legal fees, he could no longer justify the increasing costs of fighting to keep the treehouse, even with the 6,000 neighbors rallying in support.
Wow.
He ultimately decided to pay to have the treehouse taken down on March 9th and stop the bleeding. That's his words. It's been up for 24 years, never had an incident once, so it's just sad, he said during an interview hours before the demolition crew arrived. It's a shame that a city built on creativity can't make some concessions. I'm almost done. He said that since the treehouse was taken down, he's gotten a lot of media attention. I don't want all this attention, he says. I just wanted to keep the treehouse I built for my daughters. But I guess this was really stuck a nerve with people about government overreach. Once this chapter is finally closed, he says he plans to leave California and may even take Bonnie Island with him. I want nothing to do with this city anymore.
Bring it on. Come
And
to the
he-
South, brother.
He dropped the mic.
Come to the South. You can build any treehouse wherever you want. We call it a deer stand.
So what do you think about that?
That's crazy.
So just think about all the fires over in California, and now everybody trying to, clear off their properties and getting all these permits and all that kind of stuff. You think that's a hassle?
Oh, you know it is.
How long do you think it'll take for them to rebuild? 10 years?
Just going through that process. I mean, you understand there's going to be some delay when there are millions of people trying to do something. But this wasn't a complicated scenario, and it's a small town at this point. I mean, not small town, but it's a community issue, not a city issue.
Yeah. But, he's got a point. It's one of those things like you've never had a problem before. Now, all of a sudden, somebody a neighbor complains because he's stinking kids every year.
He voted the wrong way one time.
Yeah.
One time.
So that's what you do. You push.
Mr. City Council member of the 3rd Precinct. Got him.
Said, take that.
But what happens? You push these people just one step too far, and what do? They move to Tennessee and they move to Texas. How many people was it they said they've lost in the last few years? I don't remember.
I hadn't heard a statistic. I knew it was a trend.
It's a lot.
And especially in businesses, too, is what the media seems to be touting as a trend.
You've lost that tax revenue. You're losing people. Right. Do you want to hear about this?
Well, you can tax tree houses, I guess. So back to the Treehouse thing. Do you like the show? You mentioned the show, and then
I used to watch it, but I'm thinking I want to know prices. So you have these people, they come in there and they take you out there into this they've got say 2 acres behind their house, and they're saying, I'm looking for the perfect tree for this tree house. So you got this guy that he's crazy about tree houses. That's why his company's all about it. And he's like, oh, I see whatever.
Yeah.
And he takes them over. This is perfect.
Tree.
Yes. Oh, and it's a perfect square. These 4 this would be perfect. And he just starts showing them his vision. And then starts building it. And then sure enough, yeah. But I'm thinking, all right, let's go 2 years from now. Let's fast forward. What do you think these tree houses look like? Trash. What you think?
I don't know.
It's all dolled up. They'll have these throw pellets outside on their little patio part of it. And
they're all green now.
Yeah.
A little bit of mold on them.
Yeah.
Now, I will say,
The steps are all slippery from when it rains. Get a little algae.
Yep.
that part's going to age. They seem to build them nice. They seem to, the show I've watched at least seems like the build quality appears to be good. So hopefully the structure's still there. Hopefully they got that thing anchored in and it's 2 years.
One of your floorboards come out of that one.
Woo!
Yeah. See you, pal.
But they put some money in those projects.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking
because
10,000.
Yeah,
we're talking 50.
And these people are coming out from another state. So you've got these 10 guys or whatever. So now you're paying all these expenses for them to stay down there for 3 weeks or whatever.
And they're just trying to figure out how to get the equipment in there.
Yeah.
They're just saying, all right, first step, boys. Can we drive there? Nope. All right. How you get wood there? Don't know.
What about the show that has the aquariums where people go in and have you ever watched that?
Never seen this.
Yeah, they go into these houses and these
Build
people
these
have a vision for, whatever the aquarium's supposed to be. And then they build it. And it's like crazy. And I'm like, how much does that thing cost?
Like saltwater tanks?
Yeah, they do.
Like super fancy. Like, could be in the aquarium fancy.
Oh yeah. Whether it's
You got to love a fish to do that.
Like Shaquille O'Neal fancy.
Oh.
I think he had one. Was it Shaquille?
Yeah, he did.
Or they act like they dropped his little Lego thing. Was that him?
I don't remember that.
Well, there was one that they went in and there was like whoever it was, there was a Lego like head monument thing of them built in their foyer, and they got a fake one and knocked it over and moved the real one
Oh, goodness.
while they were moving the stuff in.
Yeah.
Dude panicked.
Sorry.
Got mad quick.
But when they
Legos
show
on the
the
floor.
behind the scenes, it's a huge production because you've got this guy over here. He just deals with this part of the aquarium. Then you got a guy over there that deals with fabricating, and I mean it's just okay. And then you got these two women that go out and they actually buy the exotic fish.
I'm just thinking
And so-
you got to beef the house up to hold the weight, right? Or are they doing some
Oh,
kind of
they do that.
structural-
It's just
it's some
depends
kind of
on
structural deal, I'm guessing.
They'll tell them if they can't do it, they can't do it. They have to find another spot, or they have to tone it down on the size.
Say, listen,
I
water.
saw one on TikTok recently, or not recently, but in the past, where someone took a pantry and turned it into a fish aquarium. It's pretty cool. It was like the door frame
I'm
was
sad for them right now. No snacking.
they built another pantry.
Okay, all right. I was like, man,
But they took it and it was like
are they gonna hide their little Debbie's?
it was like perfectly in between, like it was like a corner pantry, so it was like in between two rooms, and so they put glass on each side, and it was like you could see it was pretty cool.
All right. I've never had success with fish. Have y'all had success with fish?
Oh yes, I love fish.
Now I like the idea of at night.
Keep them alive?
My parent. Okay, so here's how my parents and us how we did it as kids. So we'd go. This is when Walmart sold fish for like 28 cents a pop.
What happened in that section? I miss it.
It's gone.
Anyway.
But we'd buy like 15 of them jokers and put them into a tank that was meant for 4. And you knew that some were
Survival of the fittest.
you knew that some were gonna make it and some weren't.
Y'all were playing Survivor with fish.
And there was some of those fish that ended up being like, they start like super, super small, but they ended up being pretty doggone big. And they lasted for like 6 years.
Y'all did pretty good.
I'd say you're successful.
Like they moved houses with us like multiple times.
Oh, I'd leave the fish
with
behind.
it, fish tank in your lap.
Like put a fish in a Ziploc bag. Like that's how we moved them.
How traumatic is that?
For the fish, terrible.
Yeah, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the fish.
It'd be traumatic if I dropped the fish.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law carried my girls to get koi fish for my father-in-law's pond he had in his backyard years ago, and they grew to be monsters. I mean, just there was a couple of them in there, and they were just the girls would love going over there and feeding it. I mean, it was probably 18. Now
Have you
might
seen
be an
the
exaggeration? 12 inches long.
Have y'all
like
seen the goldfish that people keep letting out into the wild? That they grow up into be like monster fish.
I have not seen this.
I gotta find it.
They're just like carp, aren't they?
Yeah, and they turn into the size of carp though. Like they're huge, but they're still very golden.
See, what it is we find out we can't take care of this animal. You know what? I want an alligator. So they get this little alligator, right, and they keep it in there. They got an extra bathroom in the back, so they keep it in the tub, and it's fine. Oh, it's cute and all this kind of stuff. But one day that thing gets 4 foot long, and we can't do anything with it. What do?
Get a new bathtub.
You take it out the back door and you let it go, right?
Put that joker out.
And it's just like that. If I saw that at the lake, I'd be like, what is going on?
Goldfish. The goldfish is named the carrot.
That's funny. I watched a fictional TV show where a guy had adopted a baby tiger.
Look at that joker.
And when he adopted the baby tiger, it was cute and cuddly. And then, 3 years later, he's got a tiger in his house and he can't leave. And people are complaining. It was a fictional show, but it was one of those moments where the firefighters open the door and go,
Close it back.
animal control, you're
Have
up.
fun, buddy. Have fun.
Well, the pythons, same thing.
Yeah.
The ones where they start sizing them up. They're
Well,
like
that's the problem
sleeping
with
beside
Florida
them.
now is because they let all these pythons loose because the people that bought them they got so big they can't handle them, so they just.
Why you want to buy a
let
snake anyway?
And now it's outrageous.
Snakes are just
they paid like I don't remember.
Not good.
They have like a contest. They pay for you to kill these pythons or to catch them.
Yeah, they do.
because they're eradicating everything. I mean, destroying the
No.
whole ecosystem.
I did not know about
Yeah.
this python hunt.
Yeah.
It's like open season on pythons.
I wouldn't want to do
Down
it.
there,
though.
yeah.
I'd be
Year-round?
terrified.
I don't know if it's year round or if it's just a certain.
It's like a
I
deer
don't like
population.
I don't like snakes at all.
I don't either, but
So I mean, are you just
you
chopping
give me
its
a
head
good
off?
You give me a good distance and
I don't think so.
What do you? How do you kill a python? I mean,
Because to chop its head off,
I
you have to
think-
get a chainsaw. Like I've seen the things like that.
I think these you don't run over. You just get a tire on it. And you just rest on it until it stops moving. That's the only way you can kill it.
You get an AR and just start letting it loose.
I'm just thinking you could combine the lumberjack competition and snake killing. Those guys that are so good with the axe, the ones that are chopping the tree down.
Oh, I
and
thought you
just-
thought like the log rolling. I was like, I don't know if you want to do that with a snake.
No, the ones where they're like notching the tree and sticking the board in. There's a rhythm
yeah.
to it. I like watching those.
Oh, I do too.
And then the guy gets up top and he's waylaying on that thing. So here's what it is: the snakes are in there and you cut them loose with an axe and say, "Have at it, buddy."
How confident do you have to be to put that little stick in there and be standing on the end of it?
That one scares me
Because I call it a stick
yeah.
because there ain't much to it.
It looks
because-
like
I thought you were in
looks like
my
a 2
brain.
by
I was
12.
thinking like Fear Factor. You just let loose a cage of pythons And so I'm saying, how confident you had to be with an axe, because all of a sudden a python's gonna be around your ankle and you're trying to cut that thing and end up cutting your leg off.
Ooh.
Fear Factor. I liked Fear
I
Factor.
hated that show. It was so bad.
I got sick
Oh.
because they had. What was you gonna say?
Oh no, I was
Finish your
just
thought
thinking.
before I.
Well, I was just thinking about. I missed our spiced up sports episodes we did way back in the day.
I forgot about that.
How do you
That was
spice
one
it
of-
up?
That was one of my failed segments.
We found a way to spice up the axe competition.
I think you could.
lumberjack.
How about you just release any kind of wild animal into any sport you wanted to, and it would speed up play. I think.
Oh,
What do you
A
think?
kangaroo on the baseball field.
Yeah, I'm thinking more dangerous, like a
Kangaroo.
hippo.
Have you not seen have you seen the guy fight a kangaroo? Have you not seen this?
Look, you put. I would not fight a kangaroo. If I saw one in this room, I'd try and get out pretty quick. But
You put a kangaroo in right field and its baby
No.
in left field.
You put like
Hit
a
line drives to the guy in the
no,
middle.
no. There's 1,000 more animals that I don't want to deal with. I mean, it's at the end of the list.
Those things are pretty
About
terrifying.
any kind of monkey. You get a group of monkeys together, you better get out of there.
Just get you a-
Them things gonna rip you apart.
Just get you a pocket full of oranges and throw them
No,
other
that ain't
way.
gonna work. You know,
I don't like monkeys.
You know the stories with the monkeys?
I'm not a fan of monkeys.
I've showed you the Tim Wells, the baboon hunt, right? Where
Yes.
he sets out the tangerines in the middle, and then all of a sudden starts doing blow darts at these things, and they just start
I've not seen.
like it makes some
I would love
wild
to
noises.
blow dart something, wouldn't you?
That does.
Watch
It
it
is
go-
so. That does sound fun.
Those
I mean,
mov-
I'd be fine just shooting a target, but I mean, if
Well, any of those movies where a guy gets, darted, and then you start seeing him like, what's wrong?
That's funny.
that's
There's a movie with Will Ferrell, and they go back in time or something. It's dinosaurs or something like that, and he he gets bit by something. He's like, I don't feel too good, but he's got like this big mosquito that's like sucking all the blood out of him. He's got this huge knot on it. So funny. I just thought about
I've
that.
not seen that. So speaking of sports, what about the Savannah Bananas? Have y'all tracked with them in the last little bit?
I have not.
I saw they played at an NFL stadium last week.
I know, sold it out like 65,000 folks.
Pretty crazy.
Have y'all
They
been
make
to see
it
'em?
exciting.
Have you been to watch
I've seen
one?
clips of it. That's it.
I watched them play when they were a collegiate team, like the collegiate summer team.
I would go watch them if they come back. They were in Birmingham area not too long ago.
Yeah.
I would. I'd double back. I'd go to it if I had the opportunity now.
It looked fun.
I think it's pretty cool.
It seems like entertainment.
The game's real, but the entertainment scripted.
Yeah, that's what I saw
is
that
there.
clip recently.
Yeah, which is wild.
I talk with my hand over my mouth.
any way to make if you can make baseball speed up, I'm for it. That's all I got to say.
It's a slow game to
It
watch.
is slow. And it is. It's
Part of the,
relaxing.
that's part of the strategy, though.
Yeah, but going
You gotta
to
last it out.
But if you go to, is it not just so relaxing? Just
Going to a game is much
Yeah.
better than watching it on TV.
Oh yeah,
Watching it
no
on
doubt.
TV is tough.
Watching it on TV, I don't do.
Yeah, but if you can go to a game,
I'll
and
wait
just
till
kick
after the
back
game.
and relax and just watch it. As long as it's not midday and it's 98 degrees
Yeah.
outside, then it's horrible.
The way to do baseball at home is to get on YouTube, go to MLB Tonight or whatever the MLB site is, and they have 10-minute recaps of every game.
That's nice.
And so you just go in there, and it goes through every single out. That's all you need to see. I don't need to see the rest of that stuff.
I was.
I don't need to see every pitch.
But I'd look them up. I'd go watch a Savannah Bananas game.
I know a guy that plays for them.
Do you really?
He went to high school down the not down the street, but
Spencer
county over.
knows people.
So you know him? Does he know you?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just asking.
I know a lot of people. They don't know me, but
I mean, I ain't seen him in 6 years, so I mean, I don't know. But
would he say?
one-
Would he say hello if he saw you
at one point, yes.
at one point? Or,
Yeah, well, you played softball together. One pitch.
Oh, that makes the difference then, right there.
Brothers for life.
That's right. You're basically one step away from a Savannah Banana.
No,
player.
thank you. I'm good.
Speaking of sports, brackets. We talked about this last year.
I don't do it.
I haven't done one.
Not going to.
You said something. Write it down. We're gonna do a bracket.
I'll write it down.
I wrote it down.
You got the
It's
bracket?
time.
We need to do it now?
Well, we can't do it right now because
It's going to be Auburn versus Duke. Duke's going to win.
you have to do it
Okay.
after
After
at
this,
some point.
I need
before.
to.
Yeah, you've got just a couple of days. You
I
need
got
to
to get
it
my
done.
bracket together.
Yeah.
Auburn got number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Is that right?
How about that? After losing 3 of the last 4,
I was going to say they kind of lost some momentum right there.
Yeah,
at the
I
end,
know.
didn't they?
I was shocked. But they still talked it up like they were going to get it, and then they got it.
Did y'all see the story? I don't know all the details, but where Southern Alabama got invited to one of the competitions and then uninvited.
How does that work?
But that's funny.
So
and unfortunate.
There
all at the
was,
same time.
I guess. So the way I understood it was the last person that was in the competition said, "Hey, we've already made another commitment. We're not going to be in." So they called Southern Alabama and said, "Hey,
you're next.
You're in." And he's like, "I'm going to tell my players." Good, tell them. Well, then the other people rearranged their schedule, called back,
can't do that,
and said, "Hey, we're going to be able to be there." So they called Alabama Southern or Southern Alabama, whichever one it is, and
the University of Alabama South.
Maybe that's it. That sounds right. I don't know. Anyway,
call.
That's not
University of South Alabama. Is what it is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I was gonna go with whatever.
There probably is a University of Alabama South somewhere, but it's probably some small little school.
So he called him up and said, "Hey, tell you what, you're back. The other team's in. You're out." And he said, "Well, I already told my players." They said, "Tough
luck."
Well, I'd be like,
I'd show up
we'll
still.
be there.
I'd
show up.
What do y'all
just sit in the locker room somewhere?
Where do you come down on that?
You tell the other team, sorry, I'm happy that you rearranged your schedule, but it's too late.
Yeah, you jumped the gun. Somebody jumped the gun. I don't know who jumped it, but somebody jumped the gun.
Yeah.
What does jumping the gun mean? We never had this episode where we just talk about random sayings.
That's like a racing term, like when they're starting.
Jumping the gun. Okay, I see that now. In my mind, I was thinking like
you're thinking the
I was
Wild
thinking
West,
like a weapon.
He was thinking of a duel, and somebody turned around quicker. And jumped the gun. I didn't want to die, so I jumped the gun.
Who trusts somebody that you're willing to shoot anyway in a duel situation?
A bad shot. That's the person I trust to get in a duel with.
But I'm saying, like, you trust them enough to turn your back to them with a loaded gun and say, "Hey, I think we're going to turn at exactly the same time."
I mean, even you
men don't cheat.
You got witnesses also, right? But it doesn't matter if you got the witness. Are they going to be able to control? Whoa! He's turning around. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Too late.
What are you going to do? Run away from him? So he's still going to shoot you in the back.
Too late.
That's one thing I wouldn't do. I would have never gotten a duel. Would you?
No.
That's crazy.
No.
It's crazy talk.
It would have been fun.
Yeah.
Adrenaline.
You think
Been
so?
running.
No.
I couldn't.
I'd be shaking. I couldn't shoot nobody. I'd be like Barney Fife.
Hey! Whoa!
I mean, hold on. I got my one bullet.
I forgot to load it.
Oh gosh, that's funny. What's the other thing that where they have the horses and the big long poles and they run at each other? What's that called? Jousting. Would you do that?
I'd do that before I'd shoot at each other in a duel.
Yeah,
that'd hurt though.
I didn't like riding a horse, so I can't imagine I'd like riding a horse with
getting smacked with a big pole
with a wooden spear.
How heavy is that pole?
I'm guessing heavy.
Is it? Have you got like a counterweight?
They kind of shatter when they hit them on the movies.
So would you rather be shot or killed by a jousting match?
Listen.
Oh, if I got to choose then.
I'm getting shot.
What's the stick called? Is it a joust?
I would assume.
A jousting rod.
A jousting rod?
That sounds right.
This is my thing. I'm afraid as I'm galloping, I can't hold it up.
You joust. You start
it
pole
hits
vaulting.
the ground and I pole vault over the guy. That's what I think.
That's probably a method.
I don't know if it's a method, but it'd be unfortunate.
The jousting weapon is called a lance, a long. Oh wait, that's just the description.
Lance. It's called a lance.
A lance.
Yeah.
I like the jousting weapon. That's what I like.
So
I like the jousting rod.
So speaking of things, would you try? What about pole vaulting?
No.
Have you tried it? Would you try it?
I'm too big for that.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm just afraid that thing's gonna break.
It's a level of commitment to just
I've seen too many videos.
full speed, stick it in the ground, and
I know.
Trust
but
it.
Small percentage of the accidents, but when you see the accidents, it's horrifying.
Hey, we have a common friend, Wade, and he has a fun pole vaulting story. Y'all should ask him about next time you see him.
He was a pole vaulter.
You should ask him the story. That's all I'm going to say.
said
We should just get Wade to come on here and just tell stories.
I did not claim that he was a pole vaulter. That was not what I said. I said he has a fun pole vaulting story.
No.
You should check with him. He would be great to come on and chat with us.
I think I could be a judge for that. How hard a job is it? If they knock the little pole off, then you know they didn't make it right.
Either you hit it or
That's what I mean. That's
I don't know.
Is there other?
Can
is
you
there
jump the gun?
Is there a certain place you gotta launch from, or?
Well, there's like a little hole in the ground, right? Is where the pole goes.
But I'm
So, I
saying,
mean,
like, do
Isn't
they
it
have to
angled?
be committed by X number of feet prior to that? 10
You've
feet?
probably got to be off the ground before, like, there's got to be a line, right?
I'm gonna say there's a.
What about the long jump?
There's
Have
a
you
line
ever
there.
seen?
I don't-
There's
it's
a
weird.
weird
I don't-
combination that you have to. You know, it's like the same leg twice.
None of that makes sense to me at all.
It's like skipping. Now, let's see how far you can jump after you skip a couple of times.
I would
makes
not
no
want to be a
sense.
judge of that.
It
I'll
makes-
be honest.
Write that down. We're gonna put that in the Olympics. That sport.
2 on the left, 1 on the right.
It's no-
See what they can do now.
Turn it around.
yeah. Why can't we just run as fast as we can? Make sure your foot's behind the white line and jump.
They wanted to save money on sand.
I don't know. I don't know.
Let's make the sandbox smaller.
If you jump over it, you're out.
What about the spear, whatever they throw?
Javelin.
Is it javelin?
Yeah.
I want to call it a javelin. Let's call it a javelin.
I mean,
I want to throw
you can if
a
you
flaming javelin.
You gotta have a Russian accent if you do that.
I do like to watch that.
I do.
Have you
Like,
seen them train for that?
Well,
It's
I
really
watched
cool.
going to high school track meets and watch them do that.
They still do that here
Oh yeah,
in high school.
yeah.
That was is
Not
banned.
flaming javelins.
Well, not flaming, clearly.
not the ones
we
on
just
fire.
used the
Spencer.
javelin on that. Not
Really?
yeah.
That was banned in high school at Georgia.
Too many people getting killed.
Legit.
I don't know about killed or injured.
Well, he was sticking to the killed part.
He
but
was. He
wasn't
did. I was like, I don't know about that part. We've always said, fact check us, please.
Yeah.
No, we don't. Who cares? It's more interesting that way.
That does sound dangerous. It does not sound like a good high school sport.
Could you imagine just a little freshman guy up there just
Well-
falls?
You can't
In the
get
middle
far
of the
enough.
throw.
You can't get far enough out of the way.
Well, this needs to be separate. It needs to be its own event. We don't need to have a track meet and it going on in the middle. You know that that's crazy.
Somebody
That
running
makes no
hurdles
sense.
over there.
Y'all remember we're dealing with high school people. You know, you don't need that one kid say, "Watch this."
Or that one judge that says, I think this is far enough. You know, that they don't know Timmy. He's been training. and,
Yeah.
and he comes in and he's got the viewing audience is sitting out there at just enough space. And then Timmy gets a hold of one. And
I think track and field just came from like cavemen. They made up all those things. Started throwing sticks,
Cavemen.
sticks and rocks.
I mean, how do you? I mean, a caveman. They can't communicate.
They had to live life somehow. Natural selection.
That sounds real good.
it was a dating ritual, is what it was.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
how the girl picked.
Watch how far I can throw this. Whoever can throw this, the javelin the furthest gets picked by the girl.
Let me throw this rock. We'll see how far we can throw this rock.
I feel like they threw it at each other. If
Probably
it was
so.
survival of the fittest.
Probably so.
It was either cavemen or kindergartners. One.
Yeah, but if you go to a track meet, there is a lot going on. That's why I like it because there's just whatever. You can concentrate on whatever. You want to watch them run hurdles, which is another crazy thing. I wouldn't run hurdles. Would you?
No, I'm not capable of it. So I wouldn't for that reason.
I mean, if you put them like knee or lower, shin high, I'm all about it. Put them out there. I'll run.
The mini
I don't know
hurdles.
about higher and higher and higher. No. Go under.
I'm impressed when they get over them. I'm really impressed when somebody falls and rolls and jumps back up and keeps on going. Like, I couldn't ever get the rhythm back to go again. So I'm impressed by them.
But it feels like you need more padding. you're putting an obstacle in your way that you might fall, you might trip, you might run into. So shouldn't we
We put them close together too.
Yeah.
Talk about padding. Were you talking about the surface, or are you talking?
I'm
about
talking
room?
about my knees, my shins,
Run with-
my
She say you want to run like a football player.
yeah, just a helmet.
Get your catcher's equipment out.
I really couldn't get over one then. It'd be everything I could do without pads on. Oh, that was there's no track and field that I really just want to sign up for. Is there one that you're just
I can throw.
itching to be a part of?
I could throw the things, the disc, the shot put.
What about the big old heavy ball you put underneath?
I'm telling you, it's just throwing a rock. Let's see how far we can
what's it
throw a
called?
rock. A shot put.
That's a shot put.
would
You
do
make
that?
the sound when you throw it.
I think you got to.
It's kind of like tennis. You got to make the sound, or you're not cool.
Okay.
Do you make sound when you play pickleball too?
Do I? Not really.
I don't think you would because you're not hitting it hard enough, right?
Like
More like-
Mario.
Oops. All right, we done with that?
Yeah.
Hey, I got another story. Do you want me to go another story, or are we done?
Yeah, I got about 5 minutes.
You got 5 minutes.
You got a 5 minute?
Yeah, well, I got
story?
a 5-minute story. I guess we'll save this. That's a 20-minute story.
Yeah,
right
save
there.
the 20-minute story.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Have y'all ever seen? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Have you ever seen Steven Tyler's feet
Can't say
From
that.
Aerosmith?
from Aerosmith?
Yeah, I was just looking at him yesterday.
Well, he was on that American Idol, and he sat there with his flip flops
Hey,
on.
I
one
would
time.
suggest you pick that up while I'm reading this.
What's that?
His jacked up feet.
Oh,
You need to see
look
them.
it up.
Yeah, you won't believe how bad they are.
I'm good.
You might want to think twice before mimicking any of Walk This Way singer Steven Tyler's moves.
Great lead in. Whoever wrote that, kudos to them.
Well, it was rewritten, but I rewrote it. How about that?
You did great.
His high energy stage performances likely caused a foot ailment, deforming his feet. Or his foot, rather. I guess it's not both. I guess it's just one.
He was right foot dominant.
I don't know if it's right or left. Photos of Tyler's foot surfaced recently. And this recently might be a couple of years ago. I don't know when this was made. But I've known
Recently,
about
or in the past 20 years.
Well, I don't know when the article was written, but it shows. You found it?
Yeah, I did find it.
bad.
I was laughing at something
Oh,
else. but-
showing his second toe crossing over his big toe and the other digits slouching towards it. Let me see.
Not the blue toenail.
Refresh my memory.
Is that the one?
Ooh, yeah, that's it.
With the toenail
I did not
polish.
know he's got toenail polish. I don't know what's worse. I'd rather have the jacked up feet than the toenail polish.
Is that natural blue?
Yeah, I don't want to walk that way. So after several surgeries, he still experiences excruciating pain. And one of the reasons he became a judge on American Idol is so he could relax. He's not jumping around and all that kind of stuff.
Think he can wear tennis shoes? Or boots?
I think boots was the problem, from my understanding. Part of the problem. They say high
Those
heels and
pointy-toed boots.
yeah. Says Morton's neuroma caused his gnarled up toes.
Gnarled up.
Gnarled up toes. I won't read this whole thing.
That looks uncomfortable, though.
It says the exact cause of Morton's neuroma remains unknown, but physicians agree that wearing poorly fitting shoes, which are narrow or pointed, increase a person's chance of developing it. Runners, ballet dancers, basketball players, or even volleyball players are more likely to suffer from it, and women are 10 times as likely to have it as men.
Wow.
LeBron James, you ever seen his feet?
Nope.
They're jacked up too.
I can imagine.
So I wonder if that's
For
got
25 years of playing in the NBA.
something. Yeah.
Goodness.
So about 80% of patients feel better if they wear custom orthotic inserts or cushions in their shoes.
You think it throws their balance off?
What, orthotics?
No,
Or what?
their toes being all
I
jacked
think you
up.
get used to it. I did hear, though, they said that if you ever had like your big toe cut off, that you don't realize that's where you get all your balance from.
I've heard that. Is there? We need to fact check that.
Let's cut your toe off.
That's, you know what? That brings me to a quick story I can remember. When I worked at Walmart. Y'all know what a straw purchase is?
A straw purchase?
Straw purchase.
Is that when you go to the garden center and buy pine straw?
Yeah, pretty close. So it's like if you went to the sporting goods section to buy a gun and you were denied,
said too.
And you said, Jody, come over here and buy this gun for me. I said, okay. So I fill it out. They're like, no, I can't sell it to you, Jody, because you're buying it for Spencer. That's a straw purchase.
Okay.
All right.
Rebecca did this with medicine for me one time, and it ticked me off. I was in the truck sick, and she had my wallet and my ID, and they didn't believe that she was old enough to buy Alka-Seltzer Plus. And so they said no, and so she couldn't buy it.
The irony of her being older than you is even better.
And so she had to walk to the other self-checkout. They were fine on the other side.
All right, so straw purchase.
All right, so there was a young boy that was trying to buy arrows, like a bow and arrow, from the sporting goods section. It wouldn't allow him because when you do it, you have to be a certain age. 18 years, it denies you or whatever. So his granddad was going to do it. All right. I didn't know all this, right? I'm telling y'all information I didn't know at the time. So I get called up to register whatever, and I get up there, and the granddad is going ballistic because they won't sell it to him because it's considered a straw purchase, So I might have let that one go,
What were they buying?
Arrows.
Arrows. Okay.
Yeah. So the boy couldn't buy it because he's underage. So now that he lets his granddad do it, they won't allow it because it's a straw purchase. So I get up there, and he's like,
I would have known how to stop that one.
irate. Well, the next thing I know is he takes his boot off and he puts it up on the register on the conveyor belt, and he's missing a toe, and it's his big toe. And he's talking about how he lost that in Vietnam. He lost that for us and all this kind of stuff, and you won't let me buy these arrows and blah, 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 blah.
So he could walk with his big toe.
So did he get the arrows?
Big toe?
I don't know. I just know he's
Did you give him
irate.
the arrows?
He only had 9 toes. And
Did you allow the sale to go through? Or?
Did you see his other?
no, because I went strictly by policy.
Did you see his other foot? What if he had less than 9 toes?
Well, he was standing on it. Apparently, the one he was showing me is the one that was jacked up. He wouldn't have showed me the perfectly fine one, right?
Well, maybe he could only just have one foot up there at the time. You didn't give him the chance to
Well,
put his
I
other
think
foot
you
up
would have
there.
took that one down, put his boot back on, took the other boot off, and put that one up there.
I think the dude would have been logical and just said no.
I think you messed up my story.
I don't think so.
I really wish you'd have been there, because being there, you'd have been. I was shocked. I was shocked. I was like,
It was.
I wanted
listen,
in my mind. I was like, people are not going to. Years from now, when I tell this story,
They're not
it's
gonna
not
believe
going to be.
this.
It's not going to be as exciting as it is happening right now.
I'm just thinking in my mind as I play back. Like, I'm grateful for the sacrifice, but I don't know if that was the time to flex.
I mean, he didn't change my mind. I
don't
wouldn't
know
think,
that
you know
that was
what?
the-
You're right.
So could he?
I'm grateful for the sacrifice. There's no belittling of that at all.
Thank you for your service.
So could he
Here's the
walk-
arrows.
Could he have walked out of the store and walked back in like 5 minutes later and just bought arrows for himself?
I think you probably could have.
Like,
If I got called to the front, I wouldn't have gone
I mean,
that way. Because I wouldn't.
Well,
gonna
that's
do
what
I'm
I'm
again.
saying is, I
No,
think cooler heads could have prevailed, and you could have said, "Hey, listen, I understand," and then you go to the store down the road, you come back on your own. I don't know.
So the cashier did the right thing. Then we had what was called a CSM,
Yeah.
customer service specialist. She was dealing with him. He was irate. By the time I got up there, he was.
He's
I mean,
ticked.
he was ticked. So, and I'm just standing, behind them. It looks bad if I go against those two people.
You
know?
can't undermine
Right,
them.
right. And so it was just a little ridiculous.
Now
what he
everybody's going to
did.
be mad if you keep undermining them. They're just going to be, oh, you get mad
That's right,
enough,
right.
Jody.
Yeah,
I
let
would
him
have just
go.
pulled him to another register. Say, come on, man. Just come over here real quick. We can't do it here. We'll do it in the back. Let's go. Just pull around back. I got you.
Y'all are hunting tomorrow. Is that what I heard you say?
I'll buy the arrows. Just get out of here.
Tomorrow. Oh. All right.
crazy.
Speaking of tomorrow, I got to go.
Yeah,
I'll
we gotta
see y'all
go.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Check us out on
YouTube, TikTok,
TikTok, Instagram,
Inst-
Facebook.
the
All that.
Instabook,
Yeah.
the Facegram,
Subscribe, follow, tell a friend.
the UTalk,
That's right.
the TikTube.
Was there anything else I needed to cover real quick? I got so much stuff going
I
on.
don't know. You were writing notes for an
You
hour
didn't- I
earlier.
had an hour to
Yeah,
stand.
an hour to kill up.
Yeah. I mean, I was over here.
I apologize.
I was
This
over here
podcast is
cutting my
being dropped
fingernails.
an hour late
Had the
today.
clippers out, cutting my fingernails. I was checking everything out. You finally showed up.
I say you schedule this one to drop at 1 a.m. being I was an hour late, so everybody else can experience the pain.
Well,
y'all
the thing
suffer.
was, we stood by the time that you wanted to do it.
I know.
And then you
This
still.
is- It is
It'd be different
100%
if-
my fault. It is 100%
You're right.
my fault.
You're right. Is it his fault?
Yeah.
All right. We appreciate you listening. Check out our next episode when you might hear Spencer say,
See ya. Get out of here.